Okay, so off to the sunny southeast now. And Wexford beaches really are spectacular. Wexford boasts 4 Green Coast Awards and 4 blue flags, and 2 blue flag marinas. Wexford County Council work tirelessly to ensure the highest of standards at their beaches. And, you know, I'd really like to pay tribute to Cleena Connolly and John Lamb in Wexford County Council for all of their work in terms of both the Clean Coast and the Blue Flag programmes over the years. Maybe they've got such great beaches because it's the home of the Department of the Environment officials. And we're very hopeful that in 2015 we're going to see an increase in the number of identified bathing waters in the Wexford area, and indeed an increase in the number of beaches that will be awarded either Blue Flags or Green Coast Awards in 2015. Ivan Donoghue and John Casey are here from Wexford Sub Aqua Club, and they're here to speak to us a little bit about cleaning beneath the waves. Wexford Sub Aqua Club were the very first Sub Aqua Club member of the Clean Coast programme, and we're incredibly proud of the work that they do. I can't really say any more than that. So Ivan and John, if you want to take it away.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of John Casey and myself, Ivan Donoghue, we'd just like to say we're delighted to be here. And as chairman of the Wexford Sub Aqua Club, thanks for coming along. What we're going to talk today about is just how we see rubbish, because we see rubbish differently from yourselves in that we see it when it's underneath the water. And that's what we do, is we clean beneath the waves. Everyone here is very well aware that the coast of Ireland is a fantastic resource. We all love it. We all get our enjoyment out of it. And for Wexford Sub Aqua Club, what we do is we throw on scuba gear and we break the barrier between the air and the sea, and we go down underwater. And when we go underwater, you've heard of Ireland is called the Emerald Isle. Well, the water is emerald colour. You know, during the summer when we don't have the storms, we get fantastic emerald green light coming through the sea. This is taken down in the Hook Head. Also in the Hook, as divers, we get to see caverns under the water. We get to see shipwrecks. So unfortunately there's no gold or any bullion on these, but they're fantastic to see. This is the sort of a rubbish that we don't mind too much. We like it being there because it brings a little bit of tourism to places, and it's just wonderful to see a bit of history. Then we have tiny little creatures. This is a nudibranch, which is probably the size of one of the students, half the size of your finger, and it's a bit like a slug, and moves along on seaweed and kelp eating. So that's the front of the animal up on the right hand side, and that's the tail there behind, but tiny little creature. We get a little bit bigger, and this is a goby, which is found, in Clifton in the Salt Lake, and that's probably the length of your finger. But as you can see, even the tiniest things in the Irish waters have wonderful colours and a little bit of character about that fish as well, you know, with the eyes and the mouth. Then we get bigger. This is a snake lock anemone, I suppose, called maybe because it looked like Medusa, who used to have the hairs or the snake growing out of her head. But again, that's a small animal, believe it or not. Even though it looks like a plant, it's actually a living organism. Wexford Sub Aqua Club, we're just back from the Red Sea, where we'll have heard people going on and on about the corals that you can find in the Red Sea in Egypt. But we have our own corals off the coast of Ireland, and this is what this is. This is a pink sea fan, and if it grows at the same rate as maybe the corals in Egypt, this could take a couple of 100 years to grow. So we're very protective of this little piece of coral. It grows a centimetre or two every year and gets bigger. Then we have the likes of conger eels, John Dory fish. My own personal favourite, and something that you can see around Dublin, out in Malahide and places like that, is the grey seals. And if you're lucky enough that they will come up and swim right up to the camera. I'm still waiting to get that man there's got a better shot of the seals than I could ever imagine. So maybe I'll get that off you. Dolphins, you know, particularly early in the morning. I see there's some people from the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group as well that have wonderful encounters with dolphins and whales off the coast of Wexford. And then if you're very, very lucky and you go to some places, this is Dusty. You'll have all heard of Dusty. She sometimes gets a bit of a raw deal on radio and stuff like that. But underwater, she's a wonderful creature. That picture, incidentally, was just taken on the slipway down in Kerry, Doolin, before the rebuild, and that's just in a couple of feet of water as I'm backing out of the water. I'm still trying to get that good picture. These are the things that we see. Some of the stranger things that we see are birds underwater. So the birds can come down, they'll see your bubbles, and they think that maybe it's some little small fish that they can come down and eat. So they'll swim amongst your bubbles, and you can take a picture of them. It's not just divers that can enjoy the wonders of the Irish coast. It's snorkelers as well, you know, and it's of any age, whether you're old or whether you're young. If you can put on a wetsuit, because we're not that warm of a country just yet, and put on a pair of fins and a snorkel, you can really enjoy it. The club itself was founded in 1971, so I suppose for us, we're a dive club, but our clean coast activities are an add-on that we do twice a year, and any time that we're underwater, we'll remove any rubbish. So this is 1971. You can see the way some of the divers on the left-hand side are wearing their socks. Was the only thermal insulation. The guy second from the right is wearing his mother's marigold gloves for washing up. And homemade suits. You know, they used to make the suits with rubber. We're now based in Kilmore Quay, and we have a clubhouse which is just sort of in the middle of the picture, overlooking the bay of Kilmore Quay Marina, which is a wonderful place. And it's roughly that sort of a region there around Kilmore. That's where we dive from, and those are the areas that we do our cleanups and stuff like that. So, just for the history of the clean coast now, I'm going to pass you over to John Casey, and John is going to talk to you a little bit about our involvement since 2007.
How you doing? I'm John Casey, and environmental officer with the club for the last 4 years. And when we started with Clean Coast, it was only just a handful of members in the club. Which way to press this? Spacebar. And from every year on, it's just got bigger and bigger. As Ivan said, we only do 2 major beach cleanups a year, but we do our own individual recovery missions whenever we're diving, and that can come on for visiting places or anything like that. There's just some. This is the first year. This was in 2010. It was the first year that we invited along the youth club, just to see if we can get a bit more enthusiasm into the beach cleanups around Kilmore. And from then on, it's just got bigger and better. We started off in those years, 2010, 2011, was usually about 30 or 40 people turning up, and it's just got bigger and bigger. This was in 2012. This was the Scouts, the youth club, and just club members, and we had I think it was about 72 people turned up that day. And as I say, it just gets bigger and bigger. We've won the award, Clean Coast Award, in 2012. I think, wasn't it 12? And this is 2013. 2013, we've really, everything got bigger, massive for us. We just invited more groups, and people were more than willing to turn up and help out. We have, with the help of the Harbour Master, that's Phil, the Harbour Master in the orange and black there, and his other council members, and with thanks to Cleana from the County Council, which comes every beach clean-up to help and gives a helping hand and helps out with skips and bins and trucks and stuff. So we mostly clean up is called the Borough Nature Reserve. It's a 275 hectare nature reserve, and this is a result of the storms last year. And most of the rubbish is getting caught in walkways and pathways and stuff. But I'm just happy to say that out of that 275 hectares, we've cleaned in the last year over half of that. Removing just over on one beach clean itself, 2.1 tonne of rubbish. There's just more of what we faced that day. That beach clean-up, there was a staggering 185 people, turned up to the beach clean-up. And I was told there were 70 turning up, and to my shock, this is the morning crew, and it was broke up into 3 stages. The kids came in the morning, and then we had football clubs, rugby clubs, walking clubs, local committees. Near enough everybody in Kilmore turned up that day to help out. That skip is full. I think there was about 160 bags or something crammed into that skip, and that was just plastic bottles alone. And there was a lorry taken away with netting and crates and stuff. That was around Kilmore Quay itself. You'll see the photograph on top. That's what came off the nature reserve. And as you see the line, those bags are 4 high by 2 wide. So that's just a taste of what is washed up. As I should say, we're doing it on a kind of a larger scale, so if the recycling companies want to pay us per tonnage, that's no problem. We'd be more than willing to take the money off them. As I say, like, other than the kids, it's getting to them. They just can't wait for the next beach clean-up. I know we raffle we go to the toy shops and we blag them into giving us something free, a scooter or a bike or something, and we just give it a raffle for the kids. It's the only way to get people there. You have to entice them, and it's working, I have to say. It's a pleasure to be able to ring any of these people at a short notice, and they'll turn up. And if I ask anybody for a favour, if it's Cleana or any of the groups, they'll turn up and sponsor me or donate whatever I want. Like, for instance, I went to Halford's and I just said to him I was looking for rubber gloves, and he asked me, what's it for? And I said, it was a beach clean-up. And I've told him how many people and the history of it. And they're going to sponsor us for the next 2 years for the little disposable gloves for the kids. Because I was looking for extra small, because the gloves you get are, the builder's gloves, they're just too big for kids. So really happy with that. It's thrown in. I won the award last Monday week of Environmental Individual of the Year award, which was a surprise to me because I didn't expect it. As was that picture, right? As was the picture, yes. This is our harbour master and 2 of his staff, harbour staff, just lending a hand. They give us the loan of the truck, or we get quads. And the last big beach clean-up, we had help of, we blagged the Coast Guard into giving us a helping hand, because they had so many people for health reasons and safety. We had to have a bigger body for first aid and in case there was any problems on the beach. So they donated 2 quads and trailers and 6 staff, which was absolute. We wouldn't have been able to move that much rubbish without the help. And we had also to thank Parks and Wildlife, because they came, and because we're using the park, there's certain areas of the park that are for nesting birds, and so we had to go through, there's weeks of planning to get through what areas we could clean without disturbing the birds and stuff. So it was all well mapped out. It was like a army going into battle with all the rigmaroles and paperwork we had to go through. But as the end result, the beach is clean from Kilmore Quay. If anybody doesn't know Kilmore Quay, from the quay, there's a little small beach that goes along, and then you hit the nature reserve, which goes, I think it's nearly 12 kilometres of beach. We've cleaned 6.5 kilometres of the beach, just along the beach itself, but the nature reserve literally it goes out, and we've went through that, and it's just literally a line of people straight along. There's not a match or cigarette butt left. You have to go looking, because I said it to Cleana, we went, look for rubbish. Cleaning was down there, she didn't. And literally, you have to go from the beach now, nearly 3-4 kilometres down the beach before you find rubbish. And that's from any road. And I want to keep it that way, with all the arguing. Now, we're different than everyone else. We use the boat to get to places where we can't reach, such as the salty islands and stuff, where plastic washes up and stuff like that. Our lads, just every time there's a dive, they'll usually find something to bring it in, and this is another one of our collections of gloves. We have, I don't know how many, dozen gloves. Yeah, that's me. Diving is thirsty work. We found that one day we were diving, and I said it was a prime opportunity to take a photograph, so we said we're not promoting any brand now by any way. This is just a glass jar, just disposed. You see them all over the place. We reuse them to store nails in the clubhouse with them. This is a sheet of plastic that's caught in the kelp, and we have a spider crab here, which he's not too happy, I'd say, with his new neighbours. And this is the tin of paint from before. Ivan came across that in one of his dives, still full of paint, and the paint leaching out of it.
It still had a smell of paint off it.
Yeah, so the toxins were leaching out, and that was just off the shore and down in Hook. This is a netting that was being removed, in the process of being removed. So we didn't just bring it up, we just cut it up into smaller manageable pieces and bring it up, or else we just use a airbag and lift it. This is down in Hook, the famous Hook Lighthouse. This is just on one of the dives we came across this, so just bring it back and we recycle it. And Ivan's young lad is delighted after getting a new net for his goal. We came across this in the cave one day. There's a rope with knots on it, so I was given it a tug. I thought it was the plug for the sea. This is just netting. It's a real curse for crabs and small crustaceans that you come across. And fishing line is another major problem just off the coast with shores in the kelp and stuff. And this is a fishing crate. Now this is about 4.5 kilometres out when we came across this floating. So even somebody in a boat had hit it, it would have caused damage to their boat. So we brought that back, and this is just things that wash up, and we use the buoy for our boat in the harbour. The fishing weights, any fishing weights that we find, we usually just melt them down and we use them for weights ourselves. So we're recycling as much as we can. And this is just a yogurt pot. You go ahead, Mike.
There's 2 little 1-minute videos there. I'm not sure if you have time for them, but I'll play them while we're walking away. This is just taken off Inishboffin in Galway. It shows a cat shark, which is, most people know it as a dogfish, caught up in a long length of net. So it's ghost fishing, as they say. It's killing animals, even though no fisherman is getting any rewards for it. So the camera's on top of the diver's head. That's why it bounces around a bit. But I think even more powerful than that video is, as the diver was coming up, he followed the line all the way up into the shallows, where he came across 2 crayfish who were beside that piece of netting. One crayfish backs away from the diver, whereas the other crayfish was caught up in the net. But luckily in this case, the diver, Victor Quirk, was able to pick the crayfish out of the net and release them. So it was lucky crayfish. They'll end up in a pot one way or another, but not through ghost fishing through nets. So thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.